We're talking about this realignment when it comes to geopolitics across the region. What do we know about the latest when it comes to these technology advances that Beijing wants to achieve?
Well, obviously, China sees, their own domestic innovation and in chips for AI to be paramount importance, obviously because of those U.S. export controls that the Biden administration has been trying to influence as well. The countries like the Netherlands, which has the big chip making equipment maker, that's ASML, as well as in Japan, a staunch ally, of course, of the United States, which has Tokyo Electron, which also makes the equipment that makes those advanced chips. So those are the two overwhelming leaders in the world that make specific equipment for advanced.
All right, y'all see that Biden is trying to influence China's access to these superpower microchips. Welcome to That's a Bet podcast, where we talk about business, entrepreneurship, and technology. I've been away for a couple of days, just making sure that we stay on track, making sure that we looking at the channel, focusing on the analytics, making sure I'm giving the content that you guys actually want. And so, it's important for you guys to like the video when you want me to do more content on that particular subject. You guys have been really going in on a couple of different things on the channel. So in regards to today's video, the microchips and the semiconductors are the talk of the town right now when it comes to what's high in demand. There's big tensions between the United States and China, and the United States doesn't want China to get access to these superpower chips. It's a matter of national security. The United States only makes 10% of the world's microchips, and Thailand makes something like 90% of the world's microchips. And, that's the reason why the United States is so focused on being involved in Taiwan, because China wants to go and try to take over Taiwan and get access to the technology that will revolutionize their military power and everything in their society. So we want to make sure that we stay up to date with what's going on, because this is a big deal. This is a big deal. I've actually just went crazy on my investment portfolio with investing in the microchip industry. President Biden enacted the Chips and Science Act, and he wants to try to bring chip production here to the United States. Most of it is happening overseas in Thailand. So it's definitely a matter of national security. These chips are inside of every piece of electronics that we have here in the country and across the world. So if you guys are not familiar with what's going on in the microchip industry and the semiconductor industry, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. We're going to talk about that and focus on that on the channel. Let's go ahead and get back into the video.
Processors for AI. The others, of course, in the United States are Lam Research and Applied Materials, which are under those controls. The problem is the Biden administration sees, yes, sort of compliance from the Dutch as well as the Japanese, but not necessarily on the servicing.
Ain't it crazy, man, how the United States can go and influence the other countries that's trying to service China by telling them, hey, don't do this. We don't need y'all to do that. We don't need y'all to get involved with China. We don't need y'all to give them this technology. We don't. And if you do, there's going to be consequences to pay. Y'all need to make sure that y'all get in line. How do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about America and the type of influence that it exerts on other countries? Is, I guess it's two sides to every coin, right? On one side of the coin, you got, hey, it's a matter of national security. We need to protect our way of life. We need to, it is what it is. I always think that the world is really like being in jail. If you was in jail and you got jailhouse rules, I think all the governments are playing somewhat by jailhouse rules, and the United States is like going around telling people what you're gonna do and what you're not gonna do. And I get it. On one end, it's a matter of national security, so the United States has to exert its force. But on the other side of the coin, it's like, hey man, who do y'all think y'all are? Who do y'all think y'all are coming over here trying to tell us how to live, what to do, who to make money with? Like it's a fine line between, you know, imperialism and taking over, and then at the same time, letting people live their life, live it how they want to get it how they want to get it. If somebody come in your house and tell you what to spend money on and who to do business with, how y'all gonna take it? So it's a fine line, man. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about it. What side of the coin are you on? Are you on the side of the coin where, hey, we're gonna go over there and tell y'all what to do so that we can keep our dominance? Or are you on the side of the coin like, man, we need to leave them people alone and let them people live and try to find another way to curb the China threat, if you want to call it the China threat?
And that's a big problem because, again,
I know you guys are watching the video right now, but I had to let you know about a couple books that I'm reading right now. You guys can join me inside of my book club. First two that we're going to start off with is called AI Superpowers, China, Silicon Valley, and the New World Order by Kai-Fu Lee. All right, this is going to talk about all the AI superpowers that's in the world right now and what everybody is fighting for to get AI supremacy. We always like to stay up to date with the technology and make sure that we're making good investments and making sure that we're putting those investments back into our business. So the second book that we're going to read is called Chip War. This is about all the microchips and semiconductors that's in demand in the country and in the world right now, actually. And if you're making an investment in the chip market and the microchip and the semiconductor markets, we want to kind of dive a little bit deeper into what's going on with the microchips and what China and the USA and the rest of the world are doing and what this is all going to lead to. So if you're interested in this and you like rocking with our channel where we talk about business, entrepreneurship, and technology, make sure you click that link and join us in the book club. We're going to start reading this real soon. Don't miss out. Can't wait to see y'all there. Now let's get back to the video.
This equipment, including the extreme ultraviolet machines that are made by ASML as well as Tokyo Electron, they need constant servicing. So Alan Estevez, which is a Undersecretary for Commerce in the United States, is going to be heading to both Holland and Tokyo soon, probably in the first couple of weeks of July, to kind of talk to those governments to see what they can do to put a little bit more pressure on ASML as well as Tokyo Electron to specifically, according to sources, limit the export as well as the servicing of high bandwidth memory chips, which, again, Chinese companies like Huawei and others are starting to develop because these HBM chips are absolutely critical.
Hey, with China getting together with all these other countries and forming the BRICS Union, they gonna remember the United States putting all these sanctions and making it hard for them on the block, man. It's crazy. If somebody was doing that to me, man, when I get right, I'm gonna remember everything, and I'm gonna make sure that that's another thing. I think that on a serious note, I think that we're heading into a future where the global dominance is going to have to be shared more than it's been, because the United States has been dominating for the last 50 years or more. I don't know. I have to do the math, but China is a bigger power now, and other countries are emerging nations, and the United States is not the only first world country anymore these days. So global power is going to have to shift if we want to keep peace. Because I just think it's natural for any country that's continuing to be sanctioned and continuing to be manipulated or influenced or held back. Natural response is to eliminate that threat, eliminate that hand of control, so that you and your people can be free and do what you guys would like to do. So I don't know, man. Is the United States hating on people right now, or is it just protecting itself? And I don't know. To me, it seemed like the United States just want to keep all the power and allow other countries to grow within the box. But we know where that can head.
for these AI accelerators made by NVIDIA and others. So again, it's getting a little bit more technical and more specific in these controls. But again, it's become, obviously, as you know, Sherry, a big geopolitical issue as well.
And Steve, we're also hearing there's a new legislation in the United States that might further limit China's semiconductor industry. What do we know of the details of this?
Well, obviously, we all know about the 2022 Chips and Science Act by the United States to basically get chip makers to invest in domestic chip making in the United States, like TSMC in its Arizona plants. And any company now, according to this new bill, bipartisan bill, which was introduced in Congress Tuesday, essentially would bar these companies that build facilities in the United States that take the money from the Chips and Science Act from using Chinese gear in those factories. It's just another step in the further control of that federal money going to the chip sector that's being invested in the United States. So Intel, whether it's Intel or whether it's TSMC, they will not, if this bill is passed and signed obviously by Biden, they would not be able to use Chinese equipment in those factories that are in the United States. It would not necessarily, according to this bill, apply to those companies' operations overseas. So TSMC and its factories in Taiwan or the new factories that are going online in Japan would not necessarily be under this these controls by this new bill if it were passed.
Introducing the ultimate AI voice.
There you have it, guys. Hey, tap in with me. Let me know what you guys think. The United States is trying to bring microchips and semiconductors production here to the United States. Like I said before, we only produce 10% of the world's microchips, and the United States perceives that as a threat to national security because these chips are so in demand for every piece of electronic that we use on a daily basis. So, you know, the United States is trying to do everything that it can to get more production here at home. Right now, I'm looking into Intel. There's other manufacturers here. Different companies I've seen have began making their own chips in-house now. You know, a lot of times, you know, we look at different industries and different sectors to try to figure out what's going on and how to figure out how to make the best investments. And right now, this microchip industry seems like it's the hot topic of discussion. So, you know, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you guys like this video. Let me know if you're rocking with the topic. And, you know, I can keep covering this issue. And as always, make sure you guys check the link in our description so that you can tap in with me in the mastermind community if you want to go into any further discussion on this topic. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.